It's actually a Ferrari red detail on there.
Ferrari red.
Yeah, Ferrari red.
Okay, it's faster. Hola YouTube, my name is Ricardo Lino and I'm a wheel addict. Today I'm going to show you the most expensive skate on the market. Is that right?
I think it's right.
Well, expensive, you might have seen, but is it real quality? Well, that's what we're gonna see today with Pieter. We are at the Adapt headquarters, I think we can say. Pieter and his girlfriend Olga own this brand called Adapt, and all the skates are handmade by themselves. So Pieter, you guys have two skates. One is the aggressive skate, the other one is what you call a hyperskate,
It's
right?
a hyperskate, yeah.
This one, the most expensive skate is the
GTO.
the GTO Hyperskate.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us a little bit more about this skate?
Yeah, sure. So basically we have two models under the hyperskate, which this one is the most high-end version of them all. Basically it's called the GTO because of my love for cars, and within Ferrari the GTO is the most expensive car
What
they have.
What you guys can see is that the skate is like all black, and then here, just check this detail, like just a little red detail in the back. So it's like a really...
It's actually a Ferrari red detail on there.
Ferrari red.
Yeah, Ferrari red.
Okay, it's faster.
Yeah. So basically, it's a free skate. So it's the base of, like, the boot can be used for multiple purposes, even marathon skating, free skating, and just maybe even slalom. So it is a multi-purpose boot with one vision actually, and it is to be the most hardcore type of skate that we can build as to this date actually. So the GTO is the most hardcore version we have. With hardcore I mean it is the most rigid skate we have. Mm-hmm. Because of the power transfer. We want everything to be really solid, have a nice solid feel to it, in order to make the skating experience more high-end actually, and a lot faster.
You guys have no cuff, a huge V-cut, that's what I see here.
Yeah, it's
and a different mounting.
Yeah, the GTO the Hyperskate has a lot of features that are totally different than any other company on the market. So basically it doesn't have a hinge cuff, so it doesn't have a cuff that moves forwards. So it only has like a cuff built in within the skate. So basically it is cut out onto like the marker of the GTO as the carbon, but then it goes all the way up to the top to give a lot of support. And the way the Adapt works is that it has a more natural flex to it. So the reason why we did this or developed this is because I was getting a bit older, I had some injuries, and my foot could not withstand a lot of impacts anymore.
Wait, is that why it's called Adapt?
Maybe. So we developed this idea to have more natural flex. So the flex works together more with the strap, the lacing, everything works really close together. So every detail is really important. That's why we came out with the double waxed laces, not just one coat, but two coats of wax, just to ensure more grip to the skate. Even the eyelets, they're not colored, they're anodized. So basically that gives more grip as well. Mm-hmm. The leather is specially chosen for this skate, so in order that it gives the right support that I want in a skate.
I asked you something about it yesterday. I asked you if you could skate barefoot on that skate.
Yeah, you can.
Because for those of you guys that don't know, a lot of speed skaters choose to skate barefoot. They choose to not use socks. I know that it might seem weird to some of you guys listening to this, but it's not a regular liner skate. It's not an aggressive skate. It's a certain type of skate that the skin of your foot against the leather on the inside of the skate, it just makes sense. It's like the contact once it sweats a little bit, it just gets the perfect contact.
It's one feel to it. So for normal inline skating use, in speed skating it's normal to have no socks in your skates, and they often have leather inside, really soft leather of course, And with the Hyperskate, only the GTO, I have to make sure, like the Zero, which is also a Hyperskate, is a cheaper. Yeah, the new model is not here, but it is this one.
Okay.
That actually has a mesh lining. So basically, the mesh lining you have to wear socks. It's like
that's
a
like a regular liner that we have on a.
Yeah, but the GTO has a different material. It's called OnSteam, and it's actually made in Holland as well. It's 8 times more durable than real leather. It's not real leather, but it gives a lot of grip on the inside, and also no friction when you would skate it barefoot.
Yeah.
If I would say that's an okay thing to do, that's totally up to the customer. I prefer to skate it with socks because of the use you
course.
Yeah, you use it not as a speed skate, you use it as a...
It depends. I guess a skate like this, when someone invests the amount of money that these skates cost, there will be a lot of different people using it, and some people will use it just for training, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
indeed.
Before we even go to the mounting, we're just gonna make a little sideline. What's the price of this skate?
The price is 775 euros at this point, and there's gonna be a different GTO model, a beefed up GTO, which is probably gonna be more than 1,000 euros.
Damn it, I lied to you guys, I'm sorry. This is not clickbait, there's even more expensive.
There's one coming out this
Does
summer.
it come with golden?
Whatever you want.
No, but just, okay, you guys tell us if you think I'm right or not. So the next version should have the gold GTO.
Gold GTO, maybe.
Come on.
Maybe. No, so the next one, we have been working on a frame for a long time. I think it's over 2 years now. And the beefed up GTO will basically be the same boot, but it will feature a completely new frame.
So before going to the frame,
Yeah.
you need to tell us about the mounting system, which is something unique, right?
Yeah, it is unique mounting. So we developed the mounting, I think we started developing the mounting 3 years ago. The idea behind the mounting was that the first Hyperskate had a normal 165 mounting, so that we actually borrowed from speed skating, because I also work for a speed skate company. So we borrowed this idea and it worked fine. But in the end, I did feel like it had a bit more flex to it, and we got a large demand of people wanting to use this skate as a marathon skate. Basically, that gave us a problem, because most of the frames are 195 if you want to go up in wheel size for marathon skating. So if you want to have like a 4x100, a 3x125, most of the times you go to 195 mounting distance. So the idea came to actually make the mounting totally different, so you can put multiple frames on it actually. But we went a bit further, and I think it was 3 years ago we started developing prototypes with a mounting that has actually 4 mounts in one. So basically it's 165, the normal standard for any free skate frame. It is 195 as well, so then you just use the outside bolts, like from lengthwise. And it is also UFS, basically, but then you need an adapter on the back. So we also provide these like aluminium laser cut, so you can put it on by using the outer bolts. So you can see that it has like outer bolts on the side, which comes to the other part. This is also a complete new mounting system, which is called the Quattro Mount, and that's going to be for Adapt only. So if you want the most high-end skate within Adapt, you will go to the Quattro mounting, and that is only using the 4 outer bolts, so not using the inside bolts, which means we can lower all the wheels and use the inside of the frame.
Yeah, because the wheels, for those of you listening to this that might not know enough, if you look on the skate from the side, here on the inside usually there's a bolt, but if you use this Quattro mount, there's basically an open line in the middle that creates a way for these wheels to go lower. Usually lower means more control of the skate. So
also there are points in the skate where actually we're up to 3.8 millimeter away from the wheel. So calculating the insole, the carbon layers up to the wheel is 3.8 millimeters in total. So that's the amount your foot is from the wheel.
Okay.
So that's really important for us, so that it's really low.
Okay, so this is one frame.
Yeah.
But behind here on the left of your coffee, which is my right, there's something. You want to speak a little bit about that? Or?
Yeah, sure.
So that, you're going to see that for the first time now?
Yeah, so this is actually, it's a prototype. It's a very first prototype. It is the new frame, which is basically the Quattro frame. It is machined out from a solid block of 7068 aluminium. So it's a lightweight aluminium. Now it's still on the heavy side now, because we're still, like, we already had some different stages in prototyping. This is the first one. The special thing about it is that it has only the outer 4 bolts that we will be using. This frame has 90 millimeters, two 90 millimeters in the back and 84s in the front. So basically it's a high-low frame. The idea behind it is that the front wheels will be as close as possible to the boot. Same thing with the wheels in the back. And not changing the wheelbase too much because of this. So if you would go all 90 millimeters, it would get a longer
But
frame.
when someone buys a skate stock, this comes with 490s, right?
Depends. We have the 80 millimeter frame, the 84 millimeter frame, and the 90 millimeter.
Does it depend on the size of the skate? Or?
We advise a certain size, but the customer can choose it on the website. So we will spec it the way you want. Basically.
What would you advise? Like size?
Depending on the size, my size is 42,
Yeah.
so US 9. Basically, I advise 84 millimeter, and the reason behind it is the way I skate with it. And if you have a different style, you will have a different frame for it. Okay. But this frame actually is developed. It is 258.8 millimeter from wheel to wheelbase, and that is the exact point of the last bone in my foot to the first bone in my foot. Okay. Which gives you, in my opinion, with this type of skating,
the optimal frame
perfect,
length.
yes.
Of course, like you said, it has to do with the type of skating.
Yes.
You are mainly an urban skater
Yeah.
that like to go to the park and just cruise around.
Yeah.
But then if you would go for downhill with you
need
frame.
You need a different frame.
Yeah, if you'd be like a speed slalom guy, probably would put bigger wheels in the middle or small. Yeah, of course.
For sure.
All these things, just like every other skate, would be different. Now, wheels on these skates, what do you have here in bearings? What people roll on?
On these, actually, now this sample, we have the normal bearing. It's a symmetric, but on the GTO, this skate, it comes with the Go Project Crown bearings.
Okay.
Always standard. I tested those bearings, I think, for a year. I really love them. Before we used a full ceramic bearing. Well, partly ceramic, but the black ceramic, which is harder than the white ceramic. Mm-hmm. We stepped away from it because basically when there's sand or dust coming in, it can scratch the bearing. It will not roll smooth. So we went for the crown bearing. I really like it, and it has the same sort of allure to it. It's a special bearing, so it's a bit different bearing than the other bearings.
You want to have like only special things.
Yeah, and basically it's how I want it to be. So the GTO will always be how I skate it. Okay. So this way, the new frame will come on a special edition GTO because this is the frame I want to skate.
With the gold frame.
Not gold, all black, of course. All black, of course. Yeah.
And the wheels?
The wheels will, the wheels are a pretty high-end wheel, and it's we like it all black actually. So I know a white wheel is sometimes normally it is better, but with this wheel we were really picky on getting the right consistency, and I think we managed with these wheels. So it was very important to me.
And that's it. I guess we're done with this one, huh?
Yeah.
I guess we just show you the most expensive skate on the market. Now you know why it costs 775 euros.
Yeah.
And you also know there will be over 1,000?
I think it's gonna be over 1,000.
But this type of skate, like Peter told me and I've said in several interviews before, it's the type of skate for the person that really wants something high-end. And a lot of people would spend like thousands of dollars, like
More.
in a bicycle.
Yeah.
Why not in a skate? If this is your passion,
Yeah.
well, it's an investment, and it's for sure for a special type of customer, and that's what Adapt is trying to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy this one, do not forget to give us some thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. If you have any sort of comment that you want to give me, or any feedback that you want to give to Peter, I'm sure he's going to be reading the comments on this. And that's it. Just don't forget why we all started skating, because it's fun. Cheers, guys. See you soon. That's it. That's cool.